Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Fanatic.com, brought to you by Patrick Eads and his staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's E-Keys for cars. GG Car, his great crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Also, Supple's Flowers. Today's Valentine's Day. Call Supple's. Don't forget. Call them locally at 351-1400 or anywhere within the sound of my voice at 1-800-800-ROSE. Also brought to you by the Midtown Family Restaurants. Harty and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Ox Yoke Inn in the Amanis. Streets Maintenance. And Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. Here's Tom Suter and Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com.
Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day to all.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
It's also Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
Not
for me.
Matters to you guys.
What? I don't even know what it is. I've heard of it, of course. But
well, I mean, it's not just a Catholic thing. It's you get ashes on your forehead,
And this is when, you start the Lent process that leads to Easter, and you're supposed to give up something.
Yeah.
I rarely give up anything. One year I gave up like Brussels sprouts and cooked carrots.
I could join you in both of those.
Sauerbraten, one year I gave that up.
Brussels sprouts with bacon.
I don't mind them, but I got to sacrifice. It's all about us Catholics. We're all on this earth to sacrifice.
Yeah, not me.
Well, you're not Catholic. You're a Jew.
I'm a Jew.
You're a Jew.
I'm none of the above.
You're an atheist, aren't you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I
So you're
guess.
wow. He doesn't believe. He's a non-believer over there.
If you look around, it's a pretty amazing world we got going here. So something.
Well, that's easy for us
was
to say.
involved.
That's easy for us to say.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some
Well,
people
you're
in other. I'm sure there's some people in other parts of this planet that would say, "No, this world sucks. I haven't eaten in 2 days."
Yes,
but,
that is very true.
I mean, we're very fortunate.
I mean, just in general, science has an answer about how this all came about, and it's, is that right? Probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a niece, and
Probably.
I have a very intelligent niece who's a doctor in my family. She doesn't believe in God because she says it's silly. She's like,
Well-
but I believe just because I'm afraid not to. In some ways, I don't want to just be in the dirt or.
I believe because of weird things that have happened in my life, and
Oh, yes, for me, it's nothing like that. It's nothing about me. I just believe because that's kind of how I was raised. And I believe out of hope. You just hope that there's something better. But I haven't had anything in my life make me think that, oh, God, yes, God is definitely here. What, did you like the Song of Bernadette? You saw like the Virgin Mary? Or...
No, I just had crap happen in my life that I just, just little freaking things. Like I was driving one day. I never used seatbelts in my life. This was back in the really early 80s. Shane, I think, was 3 or 4. And I never used seatbelts in my life, and I was at a corner, and something told me, and I don't know, I swear to God, something told me, put the seatbelt on.
Well, you heard a voice?
And I don't know
but
why.
I mean, that doesn't make me think that there's a God or whatever.
Okay,
Well,
but he is not done with the story.
Yeah, I put the seatbelt on.
Okay, no, I get where you're
And
going.
like a half a block, dump truck passed on my
I get
left
where you're
and
going.
turned right into the car.
I think it's a coincidence. I mean, I've seen the movie Signs. That's what his whole premise of that movie was about. Wow. But I just think that's a coincidence. I'm glad that it worked out.
Signs was stupid.
But
you bring signs.
But what I'm saying is that was a coincidence. What you just described.
Okay.
I mean,
Possible.
But that doesn't make me think any more or less that there's a God. I mean,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's all based on faith. We don't know. I mean, I have people that insist there's plenty of proof that God exists, but I haven't seen definite proof. Have you guys? That's why it's called faith.
I think there's something.
You
I
think
don't know
there is?
that
I
it's
mean,
a God or anything. Well, I've seen my father.
I don't. What? Okay.
I've seen my father out here. He's gone.
Okay, I don't know if that means that there's a God. I mean, you
Jim actually.
I know
saw
the
my
ghost.
father
I get all
out there.
that. I mean, I've heard all this stuff.
How do you explain the ghost?
I don't know, but there's a lot of people that have seen ghosts.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a God because there's
That's
ghosts.
all I'm saying. I mean, yeah, you're not.
But there's something after this. If there's ghosts,
or maybe it's concurrent and it's different places.
Yeah, I mean, what about all the ghosts that were seen in Gettysburg in the robes going through the woods? I mean, that's somebody filmed that. I mean, to me, I don't think she left there thinking, "Wow, God does exist." And don't get me wrong, I want to believe in God. I do. I went to a Catholic school. I was raised. I hope my parents are up there, but it's still faith. That's the challenge of it all. It's faith.
Then
Religion
how
is
do
faith.
you explain this station going from a discussion of clutch cargo to God?
Because it was
Within 20
you guys asked me
minutes.
about. Well, it's easy. I brought up that it was Ash Wednesday, and you asked what that was about, and then we started talking about Lent.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this was a simple explanation how we diverted.
So do you remember the theme song?
No, I don't.
Dun 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 dun
yeah.
dun.
To what?
Clutch Cargo with his pals Spinner and Paddlefoot,
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of it.
Bad cartoon, terrible.
where they had little teeny mouths that would barely move when they talked.
When was this, like in the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Where were you in the 60s?
Well, I was not born for the first 3-4
Yeah,
years.
young.
But yeah, I mean, well, so I started watching TV in probably the late 60s is the earliest I can remember TV. I mean, I remember sitting in front of the TV and watching like the national news at 5:30, and it always led with Vietnam. Almost every time. I just remember as a little kid seeing tanks and whatever, and it was always Vietnam, but I never understood what was going on.
No.
And hey,
Neither did most other people.
I want to make a point of saying that we got obviously the men play tonight at 7:30. Weird time
on
for
BTN.
On BTN. Then the women play tomorrow at 7 on Peacock. And I've been asked by Iowa, reached out and asked me. They wanted me to kind of remind our listeners, if you don't have to be around Carver Hawkeye Arena tomorrow between like 5 and 7, they're asking that you don't, because it's going to be a mess over there.
Yeah.
And so they reached out, and I said that I would say something to our listeners. If you don't have to be in that area, no reason to be in the general vicinity of the arena, they would politely ask that you stay away during 5 to 7, just so they can navigate people leaving and people coming, because there's going to be a lot of both.
Yeah. Yep. We'll be there.
Yeah, I know Dallas is gonna. I was gonna go, but Dallas talked me, and he really wants to go. So we're gonna have Susan Harmon there. We'll have Dallas Jones there with video, and he's gonna go out in the crowd. And I should have him hunt you guys down. He's gonna go out in the crowd and just ask, what has it been like these 4 years with Caitlin Clark? And I think that will get some good reactions. Do some video on that. Susan will write the game story. We got Rob Howe doing a photo gallery, so we're going to be covering it all over. We'll be all over that game. What's going on?
What? Oh, nobody's in the picture.
No, they are.
No, they are.
Oh, but why is no one answering the phone?
Because it's business and somebody will, but somebody's on the other phone.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so if you don't have to be in that area between 5 and 7, they politely
Then
ask
don't
that
be.
Then don't be, because that'll make things easier for them because it's going to be a rush over there. I just wonder if there's going to be people go there hoping they can get a ticket, because I mean all the games have been close to sold out, but there have been some empty seats at a few of the women's games. But I think tomorrow there may be an overflow, because I'm wondering if people will go there just hoping they can score a ticket, and there's more demand than supply. That could happen tomorrow.
It sure could.
That could happen tomorrow, especially what's the weather going to be like tomorrow night around between like 6 and 7.
Basically in the upper 30s.
So yeah, the weather will not be an issue at that time. So it'll be interesting to see.
So Weatherbug will probably have it
80.
65 and clear.
And saying that God is real. Have you seen that movie? What's that with the little kid from Nebraska? Little Burpo kid. What was Heaven is Real? The kid who supposedly he had the surgery, and when he was in surgery, Jesus came down and got him and took him up to heaven. And
I haven't seen.
The movie's Heaven. And what's his name? Greg Kinnear played the father, and what's her name? Last name of Riley. I think she played the mother. Yeah, he supposedly had a trip. He went up to heaven, and Jesus took him on a little tour.
Well, that was nice.
That was very cool.
Yeah, Jesus took him on a tour.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like a recruiting visit?
Sort of. But then hell offered him more, so he went to hell.
Yeah.
They gave him a bigger NIL package.
He went through the portal.
He went through the portal, the heaven portal.
Hello, Adam.
Boy, I never know what I'm going to get on this show.
Have you seen Heaven is for Real, Adam?
I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I saw it with the kids.
Yeah, I mean, it got a bunch of publicity when it came out. It was a news story first. I mean, it does. It is one of those feel-good movies, right? It makes you feel good about your faith. Well, you know what I mean, Adam? I mean, it's just, or am I just being weird?
No, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, didn't you, after you watched that movie, didn't you feel better about your faith? Just like, wow, I mean, this makes you believe even more. At least that's what I did.
No, absolutely. I was in, I went to Mass this morning, and amazing the amount of people there, early morning Mass down at the Newman Center. So,
yeah,
a lot of people, it's a big day.
Yeah, Ash Wednesday is the start of the, what are you giving up for Lent?
You'll have to look it up. I'm doing, I've got a men's group that I'm a part of. We're going to do Exodus 90. So,
what's that?
There's a lot that kind of gets involved in that. There's fasting, and there's
oh wow, Adam is more of a Catholic than I am. I think it's fair to say right now. He practices a little harder than I do. I mean, I still I did you ever go to a Catholic school, or were you public all the way through?
My dad was he was a principal at a public school, but we had the Catholic school in town. But we went to basically all the classes and stuff during the week. I was public, but we went to they call it faith formation on Wednesday night.
Catechism.
We had catechism, yeah. We had priests and nuns, and those were usually our teachers. So. And
I don't want to sound bad because, like I said, I respect my Catholic faith, but God, I hated catechism. And I always had to go. It was between like 6 and 8 on every Wednesday.
I remember all of my friends that were Catholic complaining about catechism bitterly.
I don't want to go. And my dad's like, you're going to go. Get the hell out of here. So, yeah, I mean, what'd you guys call it? You didn't call it catechism?
Well, we did, but I know now I think we call it faith formation with our kids.
Okay.
So.
But, yeah, I went to a public school through 8th grade. My father taught in public schools for years, and then in 9th grade is when I transferred to Dowling and went to Dowling for my last 4 years. So, and I enjoyed both. I enjoyed the public school, and I enjoyed the private school. They both serve a purpose and whatever.
That's good.
All right, let's get on to hoops.
Back to the Hawks.
Big game tonight, 7:30, Maryland, chance to get to 500. I mean, this is one of these games, Adam, where if they do make the tournament, you can look back and say, this type of win, this is what they need. I mean, they got to get back to 500 just so they can be relevant in the conversation again, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's a game we were close when we had them at home. We should have won that game. Just couldn't close it out in the end. And
nope.
I know attendance wasn't great, and there was a lot of things kind of going on. But listen, we're young, but we got some guys that are really kind of stepping up here. And I mean, truly, like Owen Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Just that last game against Minnesota, I mean, he really has been playing well. And, I mean, how many true freshmen are backing guys down and just, I don't know how many dunks he had that game, but just kind of using his force and figuring his body out around there. I mean, he's been a big part of this, along with some other guys that have stepped up. Tony's been consistent. It was nice to see Patrick have a good game.
I think that's big.
Kind of lead into this next run that we need here. But if we're going to make a tournament run and we're going to get, go strong into this conference, we're going to definitely, it starts with tonight, you're right, and then it's going to lead into Wisconsin on the 17th.
Yeah, I mean, these are winnable games, especially at home. But you brought up Patrick, and I wrote something about him yesterday. To me, the fact that he's embraced this six-man role could be huge for them if they get consistent play off the bench from him the way they did the other night. And like Fran said, he sat Patrick and Josh both down. Patrick said, I don't care who starts. So they're starting Josh. But, Adam, what does it mean, though, to have a 6'9" guy coming off the bench who can get you 20 on any given night?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those, he can bring that energy. And a lot of times when we go to that different look on defense, and you can put him on the front of a press, or you can just have him fly around out there. Again, I think he's a very unselfish player. He's going to embrace whatever role his dad and coach put him in. But yeah, he's a great asset to have come off the bench, and again can drop 20 on any given night. But I think sometimes when you're, I don't want to use the word slump, had some injuries and just stuff going on, and I just think this could be hopefully a good little motivation or a booster to, keep taking it to the basket, keep looking for your shot, be aggressive on both ends of the floor. And, we're going to definitely need him down the stretch.
In the first game against Maryland, I mean, all the X's and O's aside, one of the big reasons Maryland won is Jameer Young just could not be defended.
He took over.
He was just better physically than, I mean, that's going to be a problem again tonight. I mean, sometimes, Adam, no matter what you do strategy-wise, it still comes down to guys balling. You know what I mean?
Well, and he's averaging almost 21 a game, and he had 22 on us, but a lot of it happened in the second half.
It did.
If people remember. And so, again, I think that's definitely one guy. When you got a guy averaging 20 points a game, he's going to get his, but we got to make sure, in crucial moments, we're trying to keep the ball out of his hands, and I'd say make somebody else make a play. He's definitely one of the best guards in the Big Ten, and we just, again, he did kill us last game, so I'm sure in the scouting report we got that all laid out on what we're going to do and what we're going to try to do to slow him down.
Adam, it looks like the rotation is shrinking a little bit. Fran was asked about that on his Zoom call yesterday, and he sort of acknowledged that. That's what happens. And he was asked, well, how do you keep the young guys engaged? And Fran kind of said, hey, this is competition. The young guys better stay engaged. We're going to need them. But you've noticed that. I mean, Brock and DeSante, neither one are playing near as much right now. And I think part of it, and maybe you'll disagree, is I don't think Fran has any faith in them as shooters right now.
And Lodgie's not playing as much either.
Lodgie's not either. I mean, you've seen that. Just your thoughts on the rotation shrinking a little bit.
Well, first I'll kind of say, kind of leads into how the rotation is. We've had some weird lineups, in my opinion, just as far as personnel on the floor and who's matching up with who.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I think Lodgie came in right away early last game.
He was the first guy off the bench.
And then we didn't see much of him, the remaining part of the game. And then you're right with DeSante and Harding. They're out of there, only playing 5 minutes or less. So I think he's going with who he feels. And again, we don't see practice of consistent shooting, scoring. But I think defense is another thing too. Not saying those guys are bad defenders, but he's got to go with the lineup he feels he can get the most out of. So again, I thought there's been some kind of interesting lineups that have been in there lately. But if we can get a group that can play like we did second half against Minnesota, I think it's going to start with some of the defensive stuff. We really got aggressive, I felt like, at one point that game was 62-42.
62-42 with 16 minutes.
Yeah. 16-11 to go. And you felt like, man, this could be a train wreck. But I felt like as we kind of got juiced up, a couple shots fell, that defense really came into play. And then obviously Patrick, kind of spurring some of that as well. But I felt like we played different. Mm-hmm. And so, I think from a lineup standpoint, he's got to go with guys that are willing to get out there and defend and lock up. And if you're tired, we'll get you a sub and bring you back in. But, yeah, it's going to be one of those with competition. Those guys have to stay ready because you never know with foul trouble. You never know with certain lineups on other teams. You may need those guys on the floor.
And, of course, it helped that Garcia got hurt. And I think I think you're right about the defense. But with Bowen, though, Bowen gives them good defense. Bowen's one guy that I think could match up with Jameer Young and stay in front of him. Bowen's problem, Adam, and you maybe you disagree. I don't think Fran has any faith in him as a jump shooter, and I don't think Bowen has any faith in himself right now as a jump shooter, and that's hard if you're a shooting guard, right? Bowen doesn't have any confidence.
And I think you've alluded to this as well. I think even finishing at the rim a couple times, when he does go in a game, it just he's right there.
He does everything but finish.
Job to get into the basket, he's got to finish.
Yes. Yeah, so I think right now Fran has just lost a little confidence in DeSante offensively, and I think the same with Brock. Brock, but I got to change the subject because I just was sent a text message.
Okay.
Check out the prices for the women's game. It says tonight, but obviously for tomorrow. There's a court. He's got one section they go from $230 to $1,550, but then he's got. I think the way I'm looking at this, there's a courtside seat that's going for $4,624.
Well, actually, that's half of what it was yesterday. It was at $9,500.
So why did it go down by so much?
Evidently, nobody was biting for $9,500 per seat.
So then it wasn't worth $9,500.
Clearly.
Now I wonder. You think somebody will pay $4,600?
Maybe.
Would you pay $4,600, Adam?
I don't have that kind of money, guys. What are you talking about?
Oh, Captain, you're the only one. Would you?
Come on, you're my financial guy. You
yes,
have to have that kind of
money.
money.
You know that's a bad financial decision to spend that on a game.
Yes.
By the way, the kid's name that said he went to heaven was Alex Malarkey, and that's his name, Malarkey. And
no, it's not. His name was I read the book. It's not, Captain. You're wrong. His name is Burpo. Burpo, unless they changed it for the movie.
They might have changed it for the movie.
But you saw the movie, Adam. His last name was Burpo.
Well,
I don't remember what the last name was.
But yeah, and there's a book.
I think it's all malarkey.
And there was a book written.
well, he came out.
There's a book written about him too.
Yeah, and he came out in 2014 and said he lied. He wanted attention.
No, I think you're looking at somebody different.
Probably.
Yeah, that's
That sounds like two different.
That's two different things.
The boy who came back from heaven, a remarkable account of miracles, angels, and life beyond this world and they withdrew the book.
All right.
Well, the book's still out. I mean, I
No,
don't.
they've probably not.
Todd
published
Burpo,
it
that's the
anymore.
name. Colton Burpo was the kid. Yeah, that. Colton Burpo's at the time of the incident. Colton was 3 years old. Todd Burpo was a pastor at Crossroads Church. Yeah, you're talking about someone different.
Well, how many people are going to heaven?
Well, apparently two. I'm just saying that's a different person.
Well, it depends who. Yeah, all the Catholics.
And that
evidently.
movie, if that movie's still out, it's still. it was out. I saw it on the listing the other day. But back to the heaven here on earth, the Hawkeye basketball. Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes. I'm predicting she breaks that record in the first quarter.
I would imagine.
Don't you think, Adam? I just have a feeling she's going to come out firing.
Yeah, I think she's going to be ready to go. And to be honest, guys, I feel like you can just see this is kind of wearing on her. I mean, she's
Sure.
22-year-old, young lady, and she's got a lot of media attention, and she handles stuff with such class.
She does. But she's human.
Yes. And again, I think there's a lot of pressure on this. This is a big deal. Imagine, we see her at a couple interviews and stuff, but she's got stuff going on all day, and she's a full-time student. So I imagine she wants to get this behind her and then focus in on, what we got to do to finish out the Big Ten and make a run in the tournament.
Well, I saw some tweet or report, and I told you 17 interview requests for Caitlin, I believe, this week, and somebody supposedly wanted her for 3 hours, and Iowa they just can't meet that. I mean, she's got a life to live beyond basketball. She still goes to school. There's a lot of that, and I think a lot of these interview requests are by national media who don't. Yeah. Iowa's kind of set the tone this year by saying, hey, we're going to make Caitlin available once during the week for the press conference, and after every game, that's twice a week, the local media gets her, and they just have to make do with that. That's a decent amount.
Well, and I think, too, the pressure for her, she's got to be perfect every time. I think in her mind, I can't speak for her, but, the weight of the world is on her, and she knows if I have a bad game or whatever, teams are trying to get in their head, be physical, boxing one.
Imagine 31 points and 10 rebounds and 8 assists being a bad game. I know, I'm with you, though. That's kind of how we perceive. No, she was not good in the fourth quarter.
No, she wasn't. Well, the other thing that's going to happen is she's going to get, unless she gets hurt, she's going to get the record tonight.
I think she's going to break Pete Maravich's record.
But I was going to say, they're going to move the goalpost to where now she's got to beat Lynette Woodard's record.
And then she'll break that, too.
And then she's got to break Pete Maravich's record, and then they'll probably find some obscure Division III.
Well, no, what they'll do with the Pete Maravich record, they'll remind you, Pete did that in 3 years without the three-point shot. It's complete. It's apples and oranges. It really. I love the numbers, pursuit, and whatever, but Adam, what Pete Maravich did. Now, in fairness, Pete Maravich did. Maybe Kim Mulkey was talking about him. He did take 30 and 40 shots.
Yes, he did. Yes,
you're not old enough. I'm barely old enough to remember.
No, he's one of my all-time favorites. So I've watched a lot of film
with him.
I was obsessed with him as a kid. He was
incredible.
My dad kind of introduced me to Maravich when I was real young, and it's almost a separate thing that's got an asterisk to it because he's so. What he did in 3 years with no three-point line and everything else, and the volume of shooting. He was, he came into a program where they weren't very good.
And his dad was the coach. Yeah.
Yep.
Press Maravich.
What
a name.
Now, Pete, he had a skill set that was unbelievable. And he was 6'4", 6'5". That helped him, too. But his problem in the NBA, Adam, he just never could play for a winner. He never had the team success, and I think that kind of hurt his legend. But as far as ball handling, and I've never seen anyone like him.
No.
Well, I think she's got a little bit of Pete in her.
She does.
For what she can do. From a female perspective, she's revolutionized this game on the women's side, and her passing, just like Maravich, he was one of the. As much as he could score, prolific scorer, he could handle it and pass like no other. I would argue she, with her passing, is almost better than her scoring.
Oh, I've said that.
Yeah,
I've said that. I've tweeted it numerous times. She's a better passer than she is shooter, I believe. And when I see her, the other one I also think of, and I know we're getting carried away here, she's got a lot of Magic Johnson in her. True. Magic Johnson could dominate a game without scoring. Caitlin, like that game where Hannah had those 47, Caitlin was orchestrating that whole game.
Oh, yeah.
And Cannon knew what she had to do, just keep running, and Caitlin was getting – that was so much of Caitlin Clark.
She was a puppet master.
Yeah, and to me, Magic Johnson was sort of what Pete Maravich was. When I saw Magic Johnson for the first time, I think I was in 8th grade, and he was a freshman at Michigan State, or it may have been the McDonald's All-American game. I'm like, who is this guy? He can't shoot. He doesn't really care if he shoots, and yet he's the most entertaining player on the court because he's 6'9", he's getting the rebound, and I've never seen anyone dribble like that. Drew, I mean, to me, I'm curious to see what you think, Adam. I think Magic Johnson is probably the most unique basketball player I've ever seen in how he revolutionized the game. What do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, he came out being that kind of size and, just everything he could do, and basically kind of the quarterback on the floor. I mean, he just like her.
Yes.
Everything kind of runs through what she does, and she orchestrates everything kind of perfect. And again, it's one of those where they need her to score, just like Magic back in the day. He could. If it's one of those where he wanted to get 20 assists, he could get 20 assists and 10 or 15 rebounds. Same thing what she can do.
Yep.
I mean that's what makes her special. I mean the entire. If you just look at the box score, I mean she makes such an impact on the floor on both ends.
On both ends. I mean she blocks shots with her length.
And speaking of box score, I remember when I was, I think I was a teenager when Pete Maravich was playing, but I would go through the next day and look at the box scores. You'd see a name, 6 points, 4 points, 46, then the other people 3, 7.
Yeah, no, it was incredible what he did. And the thing with Magic, I mean, when Magic was 20, a rookie, he replaced Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as their starting center in Game 6 of the playoffs in Philly and scored 42 points, and I had 12 rebounds. It was one of the greatest, and he was 20 years old when he did that. And, Adam, Magic Johnson was never a good shooter. I mean, he didn't have a jump shot. He did
some of those guys, I would equate him, and I played with guys that are just scorers. Like if you put him in a shooting drill, probably not going to light the world on fire, right? You'd want 5 or 6 other guys on your team if you had a shooting contest. But when it came down to game time and making tough shots in crucial moments, for whatever reason, man, those guys just have they've got the ability to score the ball.
Yes, they do. You remember that hook shot he made against Boston in that playoff?
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible. But, yeah, no, this has just been a magical experience with Caitlin Clark. And I take even more joy in it because I know her. I know members of her family. I went to the same high school. I went to high school with her aunt and uncles. It's just really cool seeing the way that she has handled this. And like I said, I think tomorrow's going to be – I mean, you're going to be there, Tom. Adam, are you going to be there tomorrow?
I've got tickets, but I'm going to have my wife and daughter go.
Oh, okay.
I only got 2. I'm going to stay back and watch the other kids. But I think it's going to be really special when I said, hey, I think you guys should go. So.
Oh, good
that's
for you.
Cool.
That's very cool.
That's being a good father. No, this will be for your daughter. This will be something she'll never forget.
No, yeah, and again, what a great role model. So,
Sure. Now, what if
all the way through? I mean, she loves Iowa women's basketball. The coaches, the players. But yeah, this is special, and it's one of those you can always say. I doubt this record gets broke for a long time.
Now, what if she only scores 7 points tomorrow?
Well, that'd be her worst game as a collegiate.
Her worst is 9, isn't it?
Yeah.
Against Northwestern?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was joking, of course.
Valerie Burton.
And, of course, the scoring record's big enough, but they got to win this game.
Well, they sure
do. I saw some guy on Twitter, a media guy, national guy with a lot of followers, so he must have some relevance. He's got them a number 2 seed out west. He doesn't have them a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament right now.
Well,
and I don't agree with that right now. I think they're still ranked 4th, but they're teetering. I mean,
we lost the game we needed to win.
Yes, and they still have to go to Indiana, and they still have to go to
have Ohio State here.
This is a big game from that. But back to the men now, Adam. What do you think if you're Maryland? I mean, Maryland has been. I mean, I think they're 5-8 in the conference. There's times where I look and say, "Yep, they're starting to come on." Then you see their next. If you're Maryland, what do you try to do with this Iowa team? I mean, you beat them the last time, but it took a freakish comeback at the end. But for most of that game, Iowa was in control. So if you're Maryland, what are you going to try to do to slow down this Iowa team?
I think very similar to what they did last time. I think they try to run their style, their pace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at how fast we want to run. I don't know if they want to get into one of those kind of contests. I mean, in that second half when we kind of got going against Minnesota, I mean, we were flying up and down the floor.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we play. I would try to get us in a half-court offense, slow us down in transition, and really make us work. I think that's one way to kind of slow us down, not to be, nitpicking our own team, but it seems like when we get into that half-court stuff, we prefer to get up and run. And it's fun to watch when we're running and things are clicking and shots are falling. But, yeah, I think, for us, we've got to start hitting shots early. You got to get guys like Peyton and, even guys like Dix and obviously Tony and those guys. We got to get some scoring going early. And, again, I think it's going to be a battle. Anytime you can get a road win on a Big Ten floor is huge, and they're not easy to come by, but especially with a dangerous Maryland team.
Well, and the other thing is Owen Freeman is so important to this team. If I were Maryland, I'd go right
with
at
Julian
him.
Reese, yeah.
Foul trouble.
In which they probably will try to get him in foul trouble. Fran did say yesterday, and Adam, you can relate, Fran said there's an art to avoiding fouls at this level. And he says Owen is starting. Fran brought up a case. He goes, let's say the game scores 6-4. And your guard's going to, he's got a breakaway shot, and you go out of your way to try to block up your foul. Fran's like, Owen's learning now, let it go. That early in the game, there's some baskets you just have to let go because it's not worth the risk of fouling.
You're right, and it's hard for him being a freshman, and he's doing an incredible job of blocking shots. He's close to 40 block shots already as a freshman, and you can tell he times things up really well, and he wants to block. I think he's definitely gotten better at, instead of swatting, almost going up there and just staying straight up and trying to get a tip or a contest. But I think the other thing, too, is you're right, keeping him out of foul trouble.
Huge.
And then even if he does get two, I don't know. I know Fran's got a system where you got two, you sit. He's done it with Cricky and some of those other guys, especially when they get him early. I don't know. I think you got to roll with it, roll the dice on some of these. If you do get a guy in foul trouble, again, you got to stay smart with it, but we need some of those guys on the floor this evening if we're going to win.
Well, Lodgy gives him great rebounding, gives him defense. His problem is sort of like DeSante. I don't think Fran has any faith in his offensive game right now, and at some point you need shooters out there.
And Lodgy likes to shoot.
He does like to shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, he takes shots, I think, too quickly at times. But, Adam, defense and everything's great, but you're not going to win if you don't have shooters.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to find a flow. I mean, all these guys, I bet if you go watch practice, can light it up.
You're right.
I mean, even a guy like Josh Dix, I would argue he's probably one of the better shooters, in that gym or in the conference. I mean, he's got a really smooth stroke. Same with Peyton. But, again, it's got to come in the flow of the offense. You got to feel comfortable out there. And, for some of these guys, especially when your minutes have been all over the place, I think it's hard to find a rhythm. And so, but you're right. I mean, some of these guys, I think just from a confidence standpoint, in games probably aren't there right now. But doesn't mean it can't turn on quick. I mean, at any given time, we got guys that can light it up. And, again, I think I'd roll with this team any day. We just got to make sure we lock in on defense, and we got to get good quality shots.
There's 7 games up. There's plenty of time for them to still define their season. I mean, they can make the tournament.
Either way.
Either way. So it could go good or bad. But, Adam, before we were – God, I can't believe how quick this has gone. But I got to ask you, did you watch any of the Iowa State game last night?
I did. I watched half of it.
And their defense is absolutely incredible.
It is. They're and again, when we played them over in Ames, it was just kind of a man amongst boys. I hate to say it, but, I mean, they're a little bit more older, mature. Again, we had a lot of freshmen and young guys that were playing. That is a strong physical team, and I think they're going to be – if they can play defense like that, I think it's one of those staples like the old Michigan State teams. Wisconsin plays by those rules. You can have a bad shooting night, but if you don't turn the ball over and you can defend and rebound, you're going to be in every game, especially in those big games when it comes down to the tournament time. So I like that squad. I think they can make a real run here.
They're 19-5, 8-3 in the Big 12, and I saw some graphic has 10 teams from the Big 12 in it. They've got Iowa State as a 3 seed. What is it besides just the physicality and toughness about their defense that is so effective?
I think they communicate well out there. I think it's just, there's an art to it, just like on offense, of how guys, whether you switch, help, trap, I think they communicate well. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of chaos. And so, I know defense is a big staple for TJ, and obviously those guys have bought in, because that's the other part. You just can't have 1 or 2 guys out there, ball pressure, and I mean, it's just they're in good help side defense.
They do.
If they change stuff up and they got to go zone or they go to a trap, it's well orchestrated. So they've got those boys playing well right now.
And he had a different colored shirt on last night, but it was still right by the biceps and whatever. Still a really tight, form-fitting shirt. Maybe that's part of the toughness.
Talking about Ots?
maybe they look at their coach and say, "Look at him, man! Look at those guns!
Look at those
guns! We're going to play some defense." But no, it was.
Pat, we got to get you a polo, and then we'll take it in and get it tailored, and we'll just say, "Hey, shorten the sleeves and tighten it around the arms."
Yeah, my 60-year-old arms. I could see the wrapping around my 60-year-old
I want to
biceps.
see that.
Yeah, that would be.
Wasn't Popeye's shirt was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. TJ does wear TJ doesn't mind the form fitting, but no, he to me is a candidate for National Coach of the Year. Would you, or am I getting carried away?
No, I think 100%. I mean, with what he's doing right now, I mean, expectation-wise, and depending on how they finish, it's been a real run. And again, that conference has got some really good teams in it. They're winning games on the road, at home. So, yeah, Cyclone fans got to be pretty pleased right now.
You know who else is having a good season? I know I don't have a problem admitting it is your former coach. I looked Nevada right now. I saw they're an 8 seed in the tournament right now. I think they're like 19-6. I mean, I'm sure you're following them a little bit, Adam.
Yeah, I did. A little bit. Was it one of the games they played one of the ranked opponents, and I think they got beat by 20. But all these other games, it seems like they're scratching and clawing and getting some good wins out there. So, you know, it's one of those. It comes down to these last few weeks. You got to keep building that resume, and you just can't get any bad losses on paper, especially when you're kind of at a mid-major like that. You got to stay. You got to stay steady. I was going to ask you, did Indiana State end up winning? I was kind of going back and forth looking at the box score on that. Did they end up winning last night?
You know, I haven't.
Who was it?
Indiana State.
I didn't see.
I can look it up. Who are they playing?
Were they playing Illinois State, I think?
And I'll tell you, that guy at Indiana State's done a hell of a job. Their coach.
Yeah, I know. And again, they're ranked for the first time since I forget how long. And I mean, some of those teams, right? Like you look at the Big Ten, you get some of these programs. Throw Nevada out there. You got Indiana State. How many bids does Drake? How many bids does some of those teams start getting that starts shrinking things up for other Big Ten teams?
Indiana
Big
State
12?
lost.
They did lose. Yeah, I saw it too. Sycamore suffered first loss at home for first time in 23-24 season. So
yeah, they weren't even close, 80-67. But it was tight there for a while, and they were down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just teams like that. There's some programs that have definitely stepped up the last year or so.
I mean, Darian DeVries has done an incredible job at Drake. Here's another 20-win season. Tucker DeVries is. I mean, have you seen him play much?
Yeah, no, he is solid. He was good at when he was playing in Des Moines, and now at Drake, he's big time.
Could you see him playing small forward in the NBA?
I mean, I think with the way this small ball stuff has gone, if you can shoot it and you can handle it and you can play, I mean, I think there's a spot for a lot of guys. I saw A.J. Green had, 20-plus points
the other night
as a guard. I mean, again, some of these guys, if you can really shoot, score, you get the fundamentals, and it all comes down to the perfect situation, right? You got to get on the right team that's got a little need. And, again, you look at a guy like Luka, keeps grinding and pounding. I mean, I got to think there's a place for a guy like him to have a solid career, but it's just all about timing and it's about the location.
Yeah, I can't figure out the Luka. I mean, he dominates the G League, but can't. It's just a weird.
Hasn't found the right spot.
And Adam's right, though. It's so much of it is timing and being in the right place at the right time and what have you. So, well, we got anything else, Tom? We've just had a fun half an hour. I don't want to keep him forever. We got an economy out there he has to protect.
Did you guys see where Megan Gustafson's going to play for the Spain Olympic team?
I think
I saw that. So she must have got her citizenship over there.
She must have. Hey, good for her.
Oh, I think it's
great.
great.
Whatever makes you happy, whatever. I mean, yeah, that's great for her.
I'll pull for España.
And she'll bring her little corgi, that dog, with her.
Yeah.
That dog goes wherever she goes. It looks like.
That dog goes everywhere. That dog doesn't. It's got its own webpage.
That dog's got a good life.
Yep.
It certainly does. Well, Adam, hey, hopefully next time we'll do this next week. Hopefully we've taught by then. Caitlin will set the all-time record. Hopefully the Iowa men by then are one game over 500. They very well could be, and we'll look forward to the next time. Thanks again for coming on. We always appreciate it.
No, absolutely, guys. Always have fun with you guys, and have a great day, and go Hawks.
By the way, Adam, over 20 kids have claimed to have gone to heaven and had the experience.
Well, you were doing some major research while we were talking.
According to Christianity Today, and then one of them died but saw Marilyn Chambers. So,
the porn star?
Yeah.
Wow. In heaven or on the way to heaven?
What's the difference?
Okay. All
There's
right.
hope
Well,
for everybody.
all right. Yep. That shows you. All right, Adam. Great. You
Thank
probably
you,
want to hang
Adam.
up while you still have time.
Yeah.
All right,
See you
have a
later.
good day, guys.
See,
But Burpo was the only one smart enough to make a movie out of it. They probably made some money off that.
They made a book out of this
yeah.
malarkey.
Well, the Burpo was a book.
Yeah.
That was a book. It was called Heaven for Real.
Yeah.
That's the movie they made.
Yeah, and Alex Malarkey just made a book on it. Didn't make a movie, but
What's the
then he claimed he went to heaven, but then he claimed when he got to be 18 that he just lied because he wanted attention.
That's probably why they didn't make a movie out of it.
probably.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
pulled the book.
I'm sure they probably did.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I actually did watch that. Heaven is for Real. I think he was getting his appendix taken out when Jesus visited him. He left the emergency room and wandered up to heaven.
Victor French was in Highway to Heaven. Remember that show?
Yes.
With,
Wasn't that with Michael Landon
Michael
and
Landon.
some other guy with a beard?
and he also owned Michael Nunn, the boxer.
The boxer
from
out of
Davenport.
Davenport.
Yeah, and I mean, this guy really believed in that role, and he was fascinating to talk to.
What about Mr. French?
God.
You remember Mr. French
Yes,
from
sure.
Family Affair?
Family Affair.
Did you like that show?
I did.
I
Brian
did not.
Keith.
Brian Keith.
thought it sucked.
I didn't. A little before my
But
time, but
I did not. Jody spoke too slowly. I kind of said, "Hurry up, kid!" Just he wore me out.
Yeah,
Jody was the boy.
Yeah.
What was the girl's name?
Buffy.
Buffy. Didn't she turn out to be a drug addict in life?
She did.
yeah, she died.
She died of drug overdose, didn't she?
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah,
Was her name Anissa Jones?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Sad. We've
Yeah.
gone from Adam Haluska to Buffy.
Went on Howard Stern show, and he, I don't know, she got depressed after I guess he attacked her or whatever, or she thought he did, and
What did he attack her for doing drugs? With some of the guests he's had on his show. Why'd he single her out?
I have no idea.
He's had
I
some of the
didn't
most
hear it.
raunchy guests on that show.
Yeah,
I remember when it was on. Is it still on TV?
no.
I mean, it was on TV, but I could never.
Well, it's on a serious.
most of the time he had
video
porn
channel.
stars on. He loved to have porn stars on.
Yeah.
And it just was the same conversation every. What are you going to talk to a porn star about? Hey, you know.
What's your favorite thing
color?
to do?
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite meal after sex?
Lunch menus guy. He talked about looking at porn yesterday.
Yeah.
What now?
He went from I never look at porn. It's within 30 seconds. I never look at porn till it jams up my phone. I look at it 3 or 4 times
Times
a
a
day.
day, and then my phone freezes.
Because of viruses and stuff, right? Probably getting attacked by.
Imagine.
But in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So he does look at porn.
Yeah.
Evidently,
So-
constantly.
Are you think it's fair to say that porn is his co-pilot?
Well, either that or it's Stewart.
He seems like a candidate for porn, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think?
You mean to star in films?
No, not
or-
to star, just to enjoy. Porn was made for
yes,
him.
I
I
would
think
say
porn
so.
was made for him.
Yeah. I think
You think he's ever heard of Marilyn Chambers?
No.
I bet he hasn't.
Oh, I don't know that he knows the name.
You think he's heard of Seika?
No.
No.
Windy Whoppers?
No.
Misty Mounds?
We'll take a break.
Yeah. Back to the Hawks in a few minutes.
1-800-800-ROSE.
1-800-800-ROSE, your FTD florist, is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country.
1-800-800-ROSE.
It's so easy. Just remember one number, 1-800-800-ROSE, your FTD florist.
1-800-800-ROSE.
Remember,
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
There's a problem here in eastern Iowa. There's not enough Hawkeye fans. I mean, really, shouldn't everybody be a Hawkeye fan? Well, maybe not, but you should be a fan of my team at Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson, and my team of experts at Hawkeye Title and Settlement know what they're doing. Call us at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Car won't go into gear? Call Premier. Premier Automotive in North Liberty offers full-service mechanical auto repair, in addition to being Eastern Iowa's most trusted name in auto body repair. Use Premier for all your auto repair needs: brakes, oil changes, air conditioning, diagnostics, transmissions, or preventative maintenance. Whether you hit a deer or your car won't go into gear, see Premier Automotive in North Liberty. When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. One, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Two, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And three, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches, and special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit Supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Geary Brothers Ford Winter Clearance Event. Warm up to these hot deals. Get a new 2023 Ford F-150 XLT Crew Cab up to $6,000 off MSRP. Plus 1.9% financing for 72 months. Get a new 2023 Ford Bronco Sport $1,500 rebate. Plus 1.9% financing for 66 months. 75 pre-owned cars and trucks clearance price. Plus top dollar for your trade. Hurry in before these hot deals are gone. Or shop online at DearyFord.com. Deary Brothers Ford in Iowa City, here for you.
84 years of preparation. The wait is over. The Oxyokin's brand new book, Our Recipes, Our Story, is on sale now. 90 pages in full color, 67 recipes, and our unique history for only $24.99. Get yours while they last at the Oxyokin. Available soon by mail order along with our current serving hours at Oxyokin.com.
The Oxyokin.
Oxyokin, in the heart of a man.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios, in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
It is going to be sunny and mild today. Our high right around 51 this afternoon with a nice light southeasterly breeze at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, some light rain down to 35 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, sunny and colder, high of 40. On Friday, it's going to be even colder, and we actually have a chance of some light snow on Thursday night through Friday. Our high Friday, 32. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Outside now, it's 35.
KCJJ weather. Brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
This guy in the chat room evidently is still obsessed about the kid that he said the kid didn't die. He just had surgery.
Who said?
And
what kid?
Whatever kid. I don't know who he's talking about.
Well, if he's talking about the one I brought up, I know he didn't die. He had his appendix taken out.
Yeah.
Is that Burpo?
Burpo, yeah.
Burpo.
Yeah, nobody said he died, so tell the chat room to chat this.
I don't know what. It's a guy, maybe he's an atheist or something. I don't know.
The chat room.
I don't know what's out there. You know, what do you know? I don't know. I hope there's something after this.
So do I. I mean, it would be pretty depressing to think this is all there is.
So you mean like overtime?
Yeah.
God gives you another.
Or else you got to go through it again.
Reincarnation?
You know, there have been actual studies, and some of by the military. When I get all jammed up and nervous, I'll sometimes go to the library at the university. And there have been actual studies where children have these recollections of people.
Right.
That existed years before they did. And they've, did studies on them and checked them out.
I'm aware of that.
Bridie Murphy, I think, was... back in the day was a key person.
To me, that makes sense only because we're energy, okay? Mm-hmm. And we're on, basically, it's like radio. You're on a frequency. And if you are born and your brain's wired toward another frequency or that frequency, it would be the way that some people explain it.
So you're trying to say you believe in reincarnation?
It's not reincarnation.
No, but energy cannot be destroyed.
Energy can't be destroyed.
I'm not saying it can, but I'm just adding, do you believe in reincarnation? Because that's what we were talking about.
No, I don't
I
want to come back.
I don't believe that I was somewhere prior to this or I'll be somewhere after. I mean, I don't believe any of that silly nonsense. But whatever. All I know is Des Moines Roosevelt, school that my nephews and nieces... Des Moines Roosevelt has confirmed to the Des Moines Register that its boys basketball team must forfeit 9 wins between January 5th and February 2nd. A player was determined to be ineligible due to his age. The Rough Riders were the top team in the Des Moines metropolitan area with a 17-4 record.
How old was he?
I don't know. I mean, the rule now is you can't be over 19, I believe. And I believe the origin of this rule goes back. When I was young, I remember Des Moines Technical High School, which doesn't exist anymore.
Des Moines Tech, yeah.
They had a player named Frank Miller who was incredible. He was a point guard, but I think it turned out he was like 21 or 22 when he was playing, and I think that led to this rule where I think 19 is the oldest you can be. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me.
I vaguely remember that.
That team that had Frank Miller, Kurt Forster, Norman Gant, Jack Hurd, they were great, and they wore powder blue Chuck Taylor high-top tennis shoes. And it was a downtown high school. Now it's this big, if you're going down Fleur Drive and you go up a wrap around the corner and to get onto Fleur Drive from Grand Avenue, it's that big building with all the windows. That used to be Tech High School. I mean, we used to play against them, and they were good in basketball. They were never good, hardly ever in football, and they were terrible in baseball. Tech was one of those teams where if you pitched, you could just throw fastballs and strike them out. But, man, were they good in basketball, and that team was incredible. But that's tough. I don't know. I mean, he must have been at least 20, and then somebody tweeted later saying, oh, that's unfortunate because the player who's caused this, they probably would have won those games even if he didn't play. But, I mean, rules are rules. It sounds like there was probably a breakdown in communication. I wonder if this player was from a different country, moved here. But, no, it's just, can you imagine being 17-4 and all of a sudden you get 9 losses because one player is ineligible? I mean,
yeah, he was 21.
I mean, that's old. I mean, yeah, that's too old. That makes that's a difference too. But I don't think he was their best player. But the rule states you can't be over 19 and play in high school sports, and I agree with that rule. I mean, I do. I agree with that rule. I don't think it would be fair to have somebody 21, 22 playing against 16, 17-year-olds.
Yeah,
he's 21 and still in high school.
Well, he may be from a different country, and his academics may have been. We don't know what the circumstances are, but I could not have imagined. Me at 21 was so different than me at 18. You know, physically and emotionally, it's just a big difference.
Taking the players out for a beer,
but that's just unfortunate. Well, I was watching The Karate Kid yesterday. Mr. Miyagi actually encouraged Daniel-san to drink booze in one of those scenes when he was all drunk.
Yeah,
he was trying to push, and Ralph, and I don't want this. Drink, Daniel-san, drink. He was a high school kid. Mr. Miyagi was wanting him to booze.
I never got that from that movie, and I watched it with my kid.
Remember, Daniel-san took a little tiny shot of it, and he didn't like it.
Yeah, now that you mention it, but I never
underage drinking.
I never thought of it.
Mr. Miyagi didn't have a license, was driving without a license. He was just a crime spree, Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, that for some reason both Karate Kids are on now. The one with Jackie Chan, and the one with they're both on those like Stars and everything. Every time I turn the TV on, one of them is on it.
I don't have any of those channels.
Yeah, Stars. I don't know.
I have Stars.
I
don't watch it.
I
very
actually
often,
think Stars is better than HBO. To be honest with you, I think better movies on Stars. I mean, HBO you can get Bill Maher, but after a while, Bill Maher gets old. I mean, it's kind of the same stuff over and over. He has guests on there. He argues with them if they don't agree with him, and it's interesting. I'm losing a little bit of my interest in the Bill Maher show.
Actually, we watched a movie on Stars last night, I believe.
What was it?
It's called Joyride.
Oh, I saw it on the listing.
Real good.
What was it about?
An Asian gal goes in search of her mother,
That's right.
her birth
I did
mother,
click on it.
and she goes over as part of work, and it's the interplay between these 4 friends.
Yeah, I did see it.
And it was really funny.
I'll take your word for it.
It is absolutely, if you like, kind of rom-com type thing, it was really good.
Joyride. You what?
I saw Boys in the Boat, which was on Amazon. It's a story about Washington's rowing team during World War II, with the rise of Hitler, and how they came up and pissed off Hitler.
How about Boy in the Bubble with John Travolta? Remember when they took him to the beach in the bubble? You never watched Boy in the Bubble with John Travolta?
I sure did.
Remember? Didn't they take him to the beach?
I think they did.
He's out there on the beach in a bubble. You imagine being on the beach. Hey, look at that guy in a bubble. See, I'd try to pop it. Wouldn't you have tried to pop it?
And kill the kid.
I mean, it's not like the bubbles that you blow. It was a little more substantial.
It was, but it still may have popped. But the problem is, you may have killed him because didn't he have a germ issue, immune system issue?
Yes. Yes, he did.
It was Travolta, though, Boy in the Bubble.
I never watched it.
No, it was reasonable.
And now, isn't he a Scientologist, Travolta?
Yeah.
Is he a Scientologist?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, all right, back to the Hawks.
Back to the Hawks.
How excited are you for tomorrow? So what time are you getting over there? That was another thing. Iowa encourages fans to get there as early as you can. I mean, the doors open at 5.
We'll probably get over there earlier than we usually do.
What do you usually do?
Normally we would leave about 6:15 from our house, get there.
So you really cut it close.
Well, but we're only 6 minutes away.
Well, I know, but don't you ever deal with?
Park.
Don't you get caught in? Oh, so you don't park at the arena. That's right. You have a place where you go specifically to. Okay, that helps.
Yes, it does, and it's not far from the arena. It's a 5-6 minute walk to the arena.
Okay, no, that does help you. I forgot you have that place to park. That will, but yeah, they're encouraging fans to.
So we'll leave earlier.
Don't
than
the
that
doors
if that's
usually
what
open
they
at
want.
usually open 2 hours before the start of a game, I believe. So that will.
That's right.
But yeah, it's going to be a wild night over there, and they got to win the game. I think they will win the game. And like I said, Michigan has been they've been really inconsistent this year.
They haven't been very good this year, and yeah, it's a team that we absolutely should handle fairly easily.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I mean, Nebraska, as great as we said, they're still only 8-5 in the conference.
Yeah.
That was just not a good. That was not a good lot. They have to make up for that. And I did. I watched the replay of the second half of that game. It was on the other night. Caitlin just did not in the fourth quarter. You could tell she just didn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was tired, but her shot just didn't. Like the final shot she took in that game, you knew the moment it left her hand, it wasn't going in. It just didn't have the right trajectory. It just wasn't her. And every once in a while, you have days like that.
Yeah, and
anybody does.
Kate Martin's shot was to say you knew that wasn't going.
No,
in
that
either.
wasn't going. Yeah, no, you could just tell they weren't going in. It just was not their night. And then meanwhile, that three that Sheldon girl made right in front of the Nebraska bench,
Jazz Shelley,
Jazz Shelley, that to me was. That was when I'm like, yeah, Nebraska's going to win this game. That was a tough shot because that was not horrible defense by Iowa.
No, she's a good player.
Yeah, no, she is a good player.
Markowski is a real good player.
Yeah,
That's some good players.
Oh, yeah, no, they have some, but they're not elite, is what I'm saying.
No.
They're not elite, but that just goes to show you, though, even a good team like Iowa, if you don't bring it all 4 quarters, you can be vulnerable.
And especially we're getting everybody's best shots.
Mm-hmm.
And, every night the arena's full. I mean, as exhilarating as I'm sure that is.
It helps the other team, too.
Sure it does.
But I think Nebraska's better than Michigan this year.
Well, definitely.
The times I've watched Michigan, they just don't have a dynamic score. I mean, they're just missing a few pieces.
No, for sure.
But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like, for these women's games, what have the lines to the food places and the beer and the ice cream, what have the lines been like this year? Because there's lines at the men games when the arena's half empty.
It depends on what time of day and stuff. I mean, 8 o'clock games, people are generally done. They've eaten already.
That's true.
And then, so, yeah, you still have lines at the ice cream, but the food lines aren't as long.
Okay.
Your 6 o'clock games, the food lines are backbreaking.
I mean, the women have played their share of 8 o'clock games.
Yeah, they have.
This year, and they've played more than their share of games on Peacock.
And there's 3 more, I think.
On Peacock or 8 o'clock?
Peacock.
Peacock. Well, I think I remember at the beginning of the year, I remember counting 8 of their games were on Peacock. And
boy, good call by Peacock, huh?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, that Nebraska game.
Amazing.
That Nebraska game drew 1.8 million viewers, the most in the history of Fox for women's basketball. I mean, that's incredible. And not to take anything away from any of the other players, but that's Caitlin Clark, and we all know that.
Sure.
And the Nebraska fans know that. I guess that's why they gained so much satisfaction out of winning that game. Iowa had its chances, and this narrative that Caitlin was holding back to save the
Nonsense.
she was trying to score. She just wasn't on. She just didn't. She was just out of rhythm, and she was facing good defense.
And there's rumors out there, Caitlin had a temperature of 102.
Well,
she
did. I mean, she was still well enough to score 31 and 10 and 8. So, I mean, she still played.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's a career game for most players.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, if she was ill, she wasn't ill enough.
Incredible.
She wasn't ill enough not to play. So, I mean, but you just got to move on from it.
Yep.
You just got to move on from it, hopefully learn from it, and avoid repeating something like that.
Sometimes the other team wins.
They're not going to win any game where Caitlin doesn't score in the fourth quarter. They're probably not going to win. But my guess is that's never going to happen again.
I would probably agree with that, yeah.
I mean, I'm saying what happened. It's not a fluke because Nebraska made it happen, but that was just one of those very rare occurrences. Maybe happens 1 out of every 100 games she plays in. But it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it. I mean, I did. I watched that fourth quarter closely, the replay of it, and Nebraska really played good defense. They did. They were switching. They were helping, and the crowd was into it. And that crowd, that's where, in a way, Caitlin's own popularity kind of hurt Iowa.
Mm-hmm. They deserve to win the game.
They did, but what I'm saying is Caitlin is so immensely popular that she fuels the other fan bases to come there and cheer against her, even though they love watching her play. You know what I mean? It's a weird paradox, really, when you think about it. They're there because of Caitlin Clark, but on the road, so many of them want her to lose. Yep. I think a lot of these fans, if they had their way, I want to see her score 50, but we win by a point or something like that. I think that's what a lot of these fans are hoping. So, you think she'll get 50 in a game before she's done?
If she wants to.
I mean, she could. I'm guessing she probably doesn't, and if she does, that's not a good sign. If she gets 50 in a game, that means they're struggling to win a game and the offense isn't functioning the way they want.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, her high's 46, right?
Yeah.
And she said 44 and what have you, so, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if she ever does get 50.
You know, I imagined that it would have come against a directional school.
Maybe it'll come tomorrow.
Pregame, you
well,
know.
watch her get like 54 tomorrow. I mean, she could get 50 if she wanted to go out and get 50 points in a game.
She'd get them
against almost any opponent. There may be a couple opponents that would make it hard for her, but I think if she would, like you said, against a team that Iowa is vastly superior to, she could easily get 50 if she wanted to. You know, I mean, and like I said, she was a big reason why Hannah Stokey had almost 50 points. She orchestrated that whole thing. It was beautiful to watch.
And Hannah should have had over 50 points. She missed 8 free throws.
Well, and she missed 3 layups. But in fairness, she only missed 3 shots. They all just happened to be wide open, easy layups.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was just going too. Sometimes Hannah's going too fast, and she gets too far underneath the basket, I think, because a lot of times her shots are just a little short.
Yeah.
And what have you. But still, it was fun to watch. It was just so fun watching her and Caitlin basically playing catch. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So,
Chat room.
What are they saying
what
now?
Are they doing
are they ripping us? Because we're going to fight back, aren't we, Tom?
Yeah, I want to hear. What are they saying?
What are they saying?
No, one guy said that there was a kid who thought he went to hell, but he woke up listening to the gym class.
Well, that's mean.
No, that's funny.
What if he would have said, but he woke up listening to us?
That wouldn't be funny.
Wouldn't be funny at all.
No. It'd be bounce.
Would you
bounce?
But since he said it's the gym class, you're going to anoint him, right?
Yeah, well, you haven't brought up the gym class in a while.
No, we haven't.
No,
I mean, you've moved on.
Yeah.
You don't tease, what's his name anymore either? I can't think of his name. The guy that...
Todd?
No, the other guy that used to be the Gazette sports editor that you always... He's the big trumper. Dukes.
Dukes?
I don't see you teasing him much anymore. Have you kind of moved on?
I guess.
You got bigger and better things to...
I haven't thought of...
Because you used to make fun of him a lot and try to egg him on.
Oh, he's an idiot.
But you've moved on. Now, though, I've reacquainted you with him, and now he's back in your head.
Not really.
But no, we've left the gym class alone. That was a mean comment. But the chat room, like we've said, is mostly mean, right?
Yes, they're not in there to solve world problems.
Except for the guy that's obviously an atheist.
What's meaner, Cakert's board or your chat room?
Cakert's board. Come on.
You know,
that chat room is just pure amateurs.
The a-holes on Cakert's board, they're not, I mean, there's a fair amount of them, but there's really 3 or 4 people who just get on to obfuscate. That's all they do.
And they've been doing it for years.
For years.
And I know I'm really popular with them, right?
There is one guy that's all lowercase Pat Harty.
That's not me, just so you know.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's not me.
No.
But that shows you how weird it is, though, that people make accounts on message boards or Twitter after other people. It's just a strange thing to do.
It is a strange phenomenon.
I could not imagine opening up a Twitter account or a message board account under the name of a sports writer. It's just strange. I wonder what those people's motivation is.
To me, it's not much stranger than Fat Ass Hawk or
that's just it's
Hawk in Toledo.
Yeah, but to me, it's a little more strange to make up a name of somebody who's for Fat Ass Hawk. That's your hawk. But I don't know. I just find that creepy that somebody's got my name in that message board. But you think any of those people think it's me?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, well, just let them know it's not me.
I don't know.
I haven't been on that message board. I want to say 6-7 years.
I mean, I'm on there to get information.
Well, I used to go on there for information, but now with social media, there's Twitter breaks everything almost now.
Your problem is You go on there to be Mr. Nicey.
And they chew you up.
They don't like it.
Yeah,
No.
they don't like it.
They chew you up and spit you out. I've seen
Well, they
that
don't
before.
spit me out.
He does. He tries to be like. I used to go on just to see them attack you.
Ram it, Suter, man, you
'cause
shill.
he
Stuff
would-
like that.
He would like be the mediator.
I know. I mean, he tried to.
And the nice guy.
Then they just
and
rip him.
The nicer he got, the more they rip him.
Call him a shill.
Oh, I give it as good as I get.
Oh, so
But
you rip people on there?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the meanest thing you've ever said?
Well, I had fun the other day. Some guy was spouting the, Caitlin Clark tried not to score in the fourth quarters to get the thing at home, and I just said, stupidest thing I've ever read, delete your account.
What did he say to you?
He didn't respond.
Wow. You intimidated him.
Maybe he deleted his account. One can always hope.
Suter trying to do a little censorship there.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
That's kind of soft, though, Suter.
I've called people dumbasses.
You attacked their mother. Their wives.
No, there are other people that do that.
Oh, God.
Your mom's not very happy with you. I was with her last night.
Oh yeah, you get that, and your dad should have, and what?
Pulled out.
You get that all the time. That's just all that stuff. I've had that. I mean, your dad Harty should have pulled out, man.
Don't forget to tell your mom to cut the crust off your grilled cheese tonight.
Yeah, stuff like that. Hey, tell your mom thanks for last night. You
Yeah,
get stuff.
exactly.
It's just the typical social media keyboard warrior talk.
And I find it amusing.
I just find it just
it's tiring.
I'm beyond it.
Because then these people get in dick contests, and it's just I should just delete them, but I don't. I should.
I don't. First of all, I don't go to them. The only time I went to them is with. You told me, look at this, and then I started following it for about a week, and I thought, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's ridiculous.
It is.
But I mean,
social media is ridiculous.
It really is.
But it does pack a punch.
My nephew wants to know how he gets on that chat room.
Huh?
How does he get onto your chat room?
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
And establish an account.
You got to go to YouTube and type in KCJJ Radio, right?
Well, to get to our page, yeah.
He's going to come in dropping bombs, man. I could see you eliminating him in hours.
Is he going to be Fat Ass Hawk? Who's he going to be?
Watch him be Pat Harty's nephew. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that and just comes in with a howitzer.
That would be great.
We don't need that. So keep an eye. I'm just warning you. He listens.
That'd be great.
He's a good listener in Des Moines and what have you, but he wants in that chat room. I think he's heard us talking about it. He's like, that sounds just perfect for me.
I got a nice, I think it was yesterday, email from somebody in Boulder, Colorado, that just listens to us from 4 o'clock his time on. Just loves the
Neat
station.
town. You been there?
And loves the Hawks.
You been to Boulder?
Me?
Great, cool town.
No.
It's a neat town.
No.
I've spent a lot of time in Colorado. I don't recall
beautiful
being in
campus.
Boulder.
Yeah, no,
it's Colorado, like once in college and then once with.
Colorado has some of the most beautiful places on earth, and some of the towns in Colorado are just brutally bad.
Do you know? I saw a thunderstorm in Colorado is just amazing. I mean, it's just like you're right there, like you can touch the lightning. And
yeah, I remember we camped at 14,000 feet. That's the highest I've ever.
14,000?
That's about as. No, I think we were at no. I think we were at not 14. I think we were at like 8 or 9,000. We went to the highest place where they still had campsites. 14. I don't think you can go that high. At least not in something structured. On your own, you could. But we were way up. I think it was 8 or 9. Because I remember just walking to get wood for the fire, you'd lose your breath. I mean, the air was so thin up there. Mm-hmm. And that was back in 2008. That's the last time I've been to Colorado.
Most of us in the chat room don't even know what obfuscate means.
You better explain, Tom. Explain to the chat room.
No.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Educate yourself, chat room.
Yeah.
But let's see. I'm trying to think what else we got Hawkeye-wise. I don't have what's the next wrestling match? Do you have that in front of you?
Probably. Let's see, Heartlanders, UI Gymnastics, softball, baseball.
Well, baseball had media day yesterday, and they start their season on Friday against Seton Hall down at the Swig and Swine Classic in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, we had media day yesterday, and I knew a lot of people were going to write about Brody Breck, and deservedly so. I took a little different angle and wrote about Cabe Obermuller. I don't know if you remember him from City High.
Yep.
He's Iowa's third starter. He won the third starting job. So you got 3 Iowans in the starting rotation and 2 kids from Iowa City, a West High grad and a City High grad. It's pretty cool. And Cabe Obermuller, he's got a lot of potential. He really does. He's throwing in the high 90s now, 97 is fastball. He's a left-hander, too, so he's a nice compliment to Marcus and Brody Breck as far as the rotation goes. So, yeah, baseball starts on Friday.
Wrestlers are 1 p.m. Versus Wisconsin.
What day?
Sunday.
Sunday? Okay.
And we'll be on Big Ten Network.
Okay. Their season, winter season, it's coming to a rapid close here. It's in about another 3-4 weeks, we're going to be almost done with winter sports. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spring football is going to start here in about a month, and boom, next thing you know, we're into spring. And I'm thinking that the receiver position, we may learn about that this week, today, tomorrow.
You don't think it's Bud Meyer?
Oh, that's the only name I've heard.
Me too.
I've heard nothing different. Now, I haven't been pounding doors to try to, there's only so much, I'm not scouring the internet to try to find other names, but I haven't seen another, at least for the coordinator, other names came up. I haven't seen another name besides Budmeyer. And I know from some of the reactions, I don't think that's going to go over that well. PR-wise. I'm not saying he's going to be a failure, but I think some will consider that, maybe this is not the right word, a lazy hire. You see where I'm coming from?
Indeed.
Somebody used that word yesterday, and I told them that's a good word, a lazy, convenient hire. That's what it seems like. Now, Kirk may have a completely different spin on it. I get that, but that's how I perceive it, and I don't think I'm alone on that.
Well, I think Kirk really likes him.
I know, but why?
I don't know. He must be in his mind, a great teacher.
I know, but teaching and results since he's been here, they've been terrible. So, but yeah, I thought they would bring in a receiver coach, a guy, maybe a former receiver who's now coaching receivers now at a Power 5 school or something, but I just don't think they're really attractive right now to other Power 5 schools.
Yeah.
We saw that with a coordinator job.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking that the receiver thing will get announced sometime this week. Like I said, it could even happen today. But yeah, John Budmeyer is the only name. You're on message boards. I'm not. There's no other. Someone brought up, what about Marvin McNutt? Yeah, he's here, whatever, but I've not heard anything to suggest that Marvin McNutt is a candidate for this job.
The posting is gone.
The posting was gone. It was only up for a week like it had to be, but the moment they could take it down, they took it down, which makes me think they have their guy. And Budmeyer didn't get the coordinator job. And I agree. Football is not rocket science. A guy who played quarterback should be able to coach wide receivers. I'm just saying, perception-wise, it sort of comes across as a lazy hire.
I agree.
So, I got Suter agreeing with me, Captain.
Yeah. Could turn out to be a great hire. We don't know.
It very well could.
Yeah.
Like Liddell Betts, at least he played running back at Iowa and in the NFL. I didn't have a problem with the Liddell Betts hire, and I think the running backs have been okay since he's been here. It's hard to really evaluate him because they haven't had a lot of good blocking.
No, they haven't.
And they haven't stayed healthy. That's the other thing. So, but running back is not a concern. Even if one
really, they have really good depth there.
They have 5 guys, and now I still think at least one will leave after spring ball because they got 2 coming in. I don't think they're going to have 7 running backs on scholarship next year. But I do think it sounds like Caleb Johnson has announced, he's already said publicly that I'm staying here. Things could change. But, no, running back to me is not a concern. I think they're fine at running back.
Of all the position groups, I'm least concerned about linebackers.
Yeah, since those 2 came back, had they not come back, I was going to be really concerned.
Is your nephew Frank?
Yes. Is he already in?
He's in there.
Good God.
Is he rebel-rousing?
Yeah.
His first post, my uncle's a butthole. Is that his first post?
No, he's arguing with the guy that's he's being sarcastic.
So my nephew's arguing with a guy who's being sarcastic?
No, he's arguing with with a guy that's doesn't care for us.
So,
care for you.
Will you give my? He's defending.
Pat?
He's defending his uncle.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, let's hear it.
He just says, "Give us some more mom jokes."
Mom jokes.
Yeah.
Who? Frank said that?
Yeah.
Have we had? I'm not.
Well, yeah, your mom. Was
Hey, your mom was great
mom
last night.
Your mom was tired last night after I left her in shambles.
Oh God! Well, he's in there now. He's yours now. He's one of your people now. He's crossed over. He didn't waste any time, did he? No, he didn't. But some people love this. And how about what are we supposed to get? 51 today?
51.
But then in the low 30s this weekend, right?
Yeah.
But still, you can't. 32.
Well, low 30s one day, and then low 40s the next, and then
it's March.
Up to
but
the
this
40s.
is seasonal, though. That's
Worst 51 for February 15th. Still a little warm.
High.
That's
a little
warm, very much.
We've been so fortunate. Heller told us yesterday they've been outside every day in February. Last year they were outside for one weekend in February. He says it's been huge, but he said he goes, concern-wise, he goes, we're such a system-oriented program to where we prepare to be inside. So he's worried that even though they benefited from being outside, that it may sort of almost in a way put them ahead of schedule in some ways. But still, Brody Breck said it's been huge for him to be able to pitch outside, whereas as opposed to pitching in the football facility where there's nets on both sides. It's just now like another thing that Rick said that really got me thinking. Rick's like, when you're outside, even little things that you don't get, like going in and out of the dugout 9 times to take the field outside. He goes, we don't do that in the winter usually. He goes, and he goes, we're doing that. He goes, just stuff like that now. You think that it's routine, but it's not. Everything has a purpose to it. And it was interesting listening to him talk about how this weather has impacted them almost all in a good way, but he did say that there is a concern because their process was disrupted by the good weather. That shows you how detail-oriented he is.
Yeah.
And how he in a lot of ways reminds me of Kirk. And how he's so meticulous in his overall detail, and he relies so much on the culture to navigate through good and bad times. But, no, I'm really excited for baseball. They play Seton Hall on Friday at 4 o'clock. They're down in Charleston, South Carolina. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun spring. Barring injuries. They got to keep everyone healthy.
The real question from your nephew, you need to ask Pat, is would he rather listen to Brad or date a woman with the same last name?
Now he's starting to bring up the past.
What is that?
Well, I dated a girl who had the same last name in high school, but it was spelled Hardy. I'm Ty.
Oh.
So now he's...
So I'm guessing that didn't work out well?
Yeah, it was junior year in high school. It was, puppy love. But,
and they called it
puppy love.
But yeah, no, I was able to move on.
I can't imagine you with puppy love.
So Frank, was she hot?
She was pretty cute.
Yeah.
At least back then, I don't know what she could look like a troll.
You walking like hand in hand. And
no, we never did any of stuff. I wasn't into stuff like that.
Giving her those little candy hearts.
Didn't do that.
Did you get to second base?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you?
Guys, come on.
Come on. Come on, you can tell us.
Second base? I was born on second base.
You got the third base?
I'm not saying.
You didn't get home.
Thanks, Frankie.
Did you get home?
Did you follow out?
Thanks, Frankie. I just want to thank him for that.
Did he just bunt?
No, I'm not. Hey, I ain't Southern Justin. I ain't spilling my guts on this travesty. Some things are better left unsaid.
Travesty's a good word.
I think having Frank in the chat room could be
a
big plus here.
This ain't good. This isn't good for me.
Fantastic.
This is not good for me. You're fired up, aren't you?
Yeah, I like that.
So, but
welcome,
Frank.
I believe he's working right now too.
So are the other people.
You think most of the people in the chat are all at their jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say most.
Yeah, most of them.
Interesting. Well, I guess if you have a computer and you don't have a boss snooping over your shoulder.
When we were on Ustream, I seriously, you could see where they were from with their, what is it, the URL?
Yeah.
And most of the people I had to ban at one time or another were with the university, either in the hospital.
I remember you telling me
or
that.
the foundation.
Or the foundation.
IP address.
IP address.
I remember you
IP
telling me
address,
that.
yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, remember I put out that I paid a tribute to the dog that got ran over and killed? The person whose dog it was, I saw him yesterday, and he thanked me for doing it. He said when I said the name of the dog, he said so many of his friends reach out, because they knew when I told him the name, reach out to say they heard about the tribute on the radio, and he appreciated that. He had never listened to the radio, but he was not a radio, but he says now he will. He had never listened to the show or to the station.
And now, if he's listening, he probably regrets it.
Yeah, now he's probably like, Jesus.
So who's that?
You know,
Frank.
hey, thanks for the tribute, guys, but it's adios. But no, he really appreciated that, and he said he had a number of people reach out to him to say, hey,
nice.
we heard that, we assumed that was for your dog.
Well, I had, Mace was from his house in Minneapolis, but through the internet, was doing the weather on Channel 4 in the Quad Cities this morning. And some woman contacted me from Davenport and said, I've heard you talk so much about Mace that I turned on Channel 4 News this morning. I have never watched it before in my life, and I've listened to you for 45 years.
Well, Mace is good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good weather guy.
Yeah, she started listening to me when she was 10. Isn't that... It makes you feel so ancient.
Well, yeah, because like I said, until I met you guys, I never listened to the radio. I just never... Because my dad never listened to the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's how you're raised. I don't remember my dad. He wasn't one of these guys that would have a radio sitting down. He just never did. So, like I said, Feeney actually got me listening to the radio. Feeney. Through you, through you guys, because I heard him talking about you guys for years before he finally brought us together.
Sounds a good boy.
But now, like when I'm in the car and what have you, I don't have a radio at home right now. Where do you go to get a good, cheap radio that you can just plug in and have it at your house? Mine died.
Walmart.
Is that
probably Walmart? Yeah.
Walmart? Okay, because like Ace Hardware wouldn't have something like that, would it?
Yeah, they might.
They might.
I may go there. They might be a little more expensive, but I've had some good service from them. And the last time I was there, the guy's a devoted listener to the show, and I think Hunter went there the same day I did. Yeah. And the guy saw. No, it was you. It was you.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So I may go there because I need to get a radio for the house because I haven't been able to even like when the men are away and I try to get post game quotes from road games. I don't have a radio, so it's been hard. If the TV doesn't do it, it's been hard to get. I'd like to get quotes before Iowa sends them because sometimes they don't send them until the next day or they don't send them for 2 hours after the game. And if they win, they usually interview them right afterwards and what have you. So, but.
You want a radio? I got a radio in the back.
One that I just have to plug in and it'll work?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, you don't need it. I mean, if
you plug it in, it'll catch on fire.
You don't need it?
No.
Oh, sure. I'll take it. Hell, I'll take anything for free. Or are you going to?
I'm going to deduct it from your
I'll get my next check. It's cut in half.
Hello.
Hey, Pat. You're talking about the radio on the radio. But anyway, I don't know if it would benefit you or not, but what I do is just on the desktop.
No, I do that. The problem is, though, in such like that, I'll have 4 or 5 windows open because I need to have the stat box open.
Yeah.
I need to have Hawk Fanatic open. I need to have the Hawk Fanatic dashboard open. And if I get 5 and 6 windows up, sometimes my computer locks down. And that's one of the reasons I don't do that.
Happens to Southern Justin, too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, if before Captain changes his mind, snag that.
I'm going to. No, I'm going to.
Enjoy it, bye.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I still like to have a radio in the house. But the one I had, it still tells time, and the sound just one day just quit, and it never worked again. It still tells the time, and the alarm goes on. It just doesn't. What does that mean? That means it's dead, right? I've had it for years.
Yeah, it just.
What do radios usually last?
Well, I've got one from 1936 that's still working.
How often do you use it?
Maybe once every 4 months, just to
make sure.
Geez, that thing's almost 100. Yeah. That thing's an antique.
Yeah,
it's probably worth some money.
And then I got, I don't know if it is. Then I've got one from 1949, a portable RCA that used it uses power, but dry cells as well, if you want. And it's got tubes in it, and it's in a metal chassis.
Oh, I know. I remember those.
Yeah. and it's still.
You think that's worth any money?
I don't think they're really worth any money. You will go to like eBay, and you see these transistor radios, and I stopped collecting them only because they made them from parts that dried up and crap, and so I stopped collecting them.
Remember the little transistor radios?
I got them.
I remember those.
So don't you have a radio that was on a TV set? On a TV show set?
In the backdrop? Like
yes.
part of the set?
Gilligan's.
That white radio on Gilligan's Island, you have that?
I have it.
That would be worth some money.
I've seen other people that say...
They have it?
Well, I have an authentication thing, but I've heard other people say, no, there's an argument.
So there's no way to prove that you actually have the exact one
I
that would
do have the exact...
Why isn't that worth money?
I have the exact TV. Did you ever see The Real McCoys?
No.
With Walter Brennan?
I'm talking about Gilligan's Island, that radio.
But I got a TV that is the authentic TV.
Sell it.
That's okay. You want it?
I'll give you $5 for it.
$400.
No, I'll give you $5.
And it works.
We got to negotiate. You start at $400. I start at $5.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to meet.
Okay.
But you
$400.
You think you could get $400 for that thing?
I've been offered $400.
Why don't you sell it? Or you have some value in keeping it, like a keepsake?
I just didn't feel like selling it
Okay.
at the time.
But something like that to me would be worth. And if you could prove that was the actual radio that was on Gilligan's set for all, that would be worth some money, wouldn't it?
You would think so.
I would think that would be worth thousands of dollars
to somebody.
To somebody.
But
you see some of the stuff that people paid. What people pay for. It's
Well,
crazy.
first of all, there's other people that claim that they've got so I don't know. I do know the television is real because I got the television from a guy that worked on the set.
And aren't there ways to authenticate those things too? I mean, don't they?
I guess, yeah.
I would
if
think
I go
there
on
would be.
Antique Roadshow or some damn thing.
All right. Well, God, it's already 10:30. Thanks to Adam for this was a fun show today. What's my nephew doing now? Give me one update before. Is he?
Well, then I'm going to put you on the spot.
Do I need to call my lawyer?
Wow.
If you want to.
And somebody called your nephew a freaking moron.
Oh, boy, that didn't take long. That did not take long.
When are we going to get the guy that obviously runs in the family? We'll be getting that here soon. Enjoy yourself, Frankie. What were you going to say now? You said
Okay,
you're
putting you on the spot.
All right.
Who wins tonight, Iowa or Maryland?
I'm going to say Iowa.
How many points?
4. I'm going to say Iowa. I think Sanford's going to make some big threes. I think Maryland is going to struggle to score. Maryland's not playing very well right now.
No.
They're 5-8. And Iowa should have won that game. Now, would I be shocked if Iowa lost tonight? No, but you asked me. I got a slight edge for Iowa right now, just because I think they are a better team than Maryland. I think they're a better offensive team, and that's why. But my confidence level, if you wanted a percentage, I'm talking like 52 to 48%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do. I think Iowa's going to win. Are you not as confident?
No, I think they will. They kind of need to.
And Maryland does too, but teams like this that are kind of evenly matched, when they play a season series, often it ends up in a split.
It does.
And I think Maryland's kind of already done their law of averages, and I just had this feeling Iowa's going to win. And, I am sort of, what was it, Karnak? Was that the guy who could read the...
Karnak.
Like I said, with 11 minutes to go in the game the other day, I looked to this kid sitting there, I think they're going to win. And I really, I wasn't just saying that. I knew Garcia was out. I mean, and it was 70 to 58 at the time. I just had this feeling that Minnesota was going to continue to unravel, and Iowa was going to continue to make big shots, which they did. And when I watch Maryland play, there's times where they just can't score.
No.
They're always good on defense. They're physical. They're tough, but there's times where they just can't make shots, and I think tonight may be one of those. Now, well, we don't have a show Friday, right? We have an auction. Okay, but yeah, that's my theme.
I'll say if Owen gets in foul trouble, then
that'll be
Iowa will not win.
Yeah, that'll be a problem. If Owen gets two fouls within the first 5 minutes of the first half and sits, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That will be a problem. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. And I think the women will win by somewhere between 8 and 15 points on Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm guessing Caitlin will end up getting, 32, 33, maybe low 30s, just a typical stat line. But I do think she'll have that record done by the first quarter just so they can just move on. And it sounds, obviously they're not going to stop play the moment she.
I was going to ask you that when Adam was on.
What I think they're going to do, kind of what I've been told, but nothing official, is when they go to a break, when they come back from a break or something, they will acknowledge it. But, if she makes a three and all of a sudden they, Michigan may get the inbounds and want to run a fast break play, you're not going to stop play like that. But I think when there's a break in play, they will acknowledge it, give her the ball or what have you, and then fans will have a chance to show their appreciation. But then you got to continue playing the game.
Yep.
But no, I will be surprised if she doesn't have it by going into the second quarter.
I agree with you.
So it's 7 o'clock tip-off, right?
Yes, I think
so.
so.
At 7 o'clock games,
yes.
Do you do dinner there or do you eat before you go for 7 o'clock games?
Can go either way.
You haven't planned that yet. You and Ann have to sit down and plan yet your attack. You thinking cardboard tenderloin with fries?
If we eat at the arena, yes.
Hello.
Hey guys, I heard that Lisa is planning on calling a timeout.
Oh, okay.
When that happens.
Okay.
That's what I was told. Not sure. We'll see. I guess tonight.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. That seems kind of weird. What if she needs a timeout? I guess in the first, if it's early and what have you. But no, that very well could. Yeah, because they won't stop play right when the ball goes.
No,
you can't.
No.
But yeah, they'll have a chance to recognize it, and it's gonna be crazy over there. It's gonna. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Dallas talking to some students and some fans and just letting them explain what it's been like these 4 years with Caitlin Clark. Because, she hit the ground running.
It's been a lot of fun.
She's been good and dominant since the first game she played.
Of course, we couldn't watch her the first year, right?
It's COVID.
Yeah.
Well, you could if you were covering the team. There were some games that I can't remember. Fans were not allowed.
No.
Media was allowed. I remember doing a couple of those, and I know Susan did some. And then immediate family members could be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that what it
Yes.
was? But, yeah, she played her first year in COVID. Caitlin Clark and Tori Taylor both came here right during the middle of a global pandemic. That's why she obviously has another year if she wants to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, everybody, again, no show on Friday. We'll be back on Monday, and then we'll do a show Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so... And what's that auction you have Friday? What's it called?
Sweetheart Store.
You're selling love, aren't you?
Selling love.
Love and lust, both, right?
Yeah.
You're selling both.
Lust.
All right.
Your cousin's invited to.
Yeah.
Or nephew. Your nephew.
Are you going to give me another update before I leave the building? So the last one, they called him a freaking moron, right?
That's been it.
That's been it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why was he a moron? Freaking moron.
Because he's my nephew.
I don't know.
All right.
It's not enough to be just a moron. He's a freaking moron. All right.
Okay, police reports coming up in a few. HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.